Hello, everyone. It has been a while since I've posted anything, so I don't know if anyone will be here to watch this. A lot of life complications happened, and I've had different people staying here, and they're all awake at different times, and it's just impossible to record anything without hearing something. And there's actually someone awake right now, 2 people and a dog, and it's bound to get noisy. I am on my computer. The fan is kind of loud, so I'll apologize for that too, but let's Rapunzel was learning how to play the piano from hook hand. Flynn was learning interior design. He was less excited than Rapunzel. "A little to the right," Gunther said. "The right, really?" Flynn asked as he moved a vase. Suddenly the door flew open. It was a noble horse, Max, followed by 2 royal guards. Max sadly held up a wanted poster by his mouth. It had a picture of Flynn. "Anyone else getting a sense of deja vu?" Flynn asked. "It looks like they think you stole my tiara again," Rapunzel said as she read the warrant for Flynn's arrest. "What? I didn't do anything. Why does everyone always think it's me?" Flynn said. Rapunzel just looked at him. "Well, I guess they might have a few reasons," Flynn said. The guards explained that late the night before, someone who looked just like Flynn had sneaked into the castle and stolen Rapunzel's tiara right from underneath the guards' noses. There were witnesses all over town who said they had seen Flynn running away from the scene of the crime. The guards had no choice but to arrest Flynn. "Don't worry," Rapunzel said. "We'll clear this whole thing up. You'll be back to interior designing in no time." "Hurry," Flynn said as the guards led him away. "And don't let Gunther move that vase." A door shut behind Max, the guards, and Flynn. "What are we going to do, Hookhand?" asked Rapunzel. Rapunzel looked at her friends in the snuggly duckling. She was worried. She knew Flynn hadn't stolen the tiara, but she would have to prove it. "Let's go back to town. It's time to investigate." Later that day, Rapunzel and her friends reached Corona and questioned the townspeople. The town was abuzz with news and theories about the theft of the tiara. "I heard that Flynn Rider stole it to give it to a princess from a faraway land," a shopkeeper told Brizzer. "Oh, please," said Rapunzel. A baker said that he had heard that Flynn was trading the tiara for his freedom from an evil magician. And a gardener said that Flynn was going to use the tiara to buy a ship and sail far, far away. "He would never do that," Rapunzel said. "He hates sailing." Many people swore that they had seen Flynn the night before. The librarian had spotted Flynn sneaking around by the paint shop. A sailor was sure he'd seen Flynn down by the docks. "But how did you know it was him?" Rapunzel asked the sailor. "The thief was wearing a green vest, just like Flynn always wears," the sailor said matter-of-factly. "Besides, he's stolen the tiara before, but he couldn't have been at the paint shop and the docks. They're on opposite sides of town, and there aren't 2 Flynns," Rapunzel said. "Plus, the last time he stole the tiara, he had help." Rapunzel turned to her friends. She was starting to suspect who might really be behind the theft. But to clear Flynn's name, they would have to catch the true criminals. "I think I have a plan," Rapunzel said, drawing everyone into a tight huddle. "Now, listen closely." Rapunzel and her friends rushed to the castle to tell the king and queen their plan. "First, I need the royal messengers to tell the town we're moving all of the royal jewels to the throne room to protect them," Rapunzel said. "Then I need you to send Max and all his guards on an important mission out of town. But then everyone will know the castle and the jewels are undefended," the king and the queen said together. "Exactly," Rapunzel smiled. The sun began to set, and the townspeople watched in amazement as Max led all of the guards out of the city gates. "They must be going to find the princess's tiara," the gardener told the librarian. The royal messengers told everyone that the kingdom's jewels had all been moved to the castle's throne room. With everything in one place, the precious treasure would be easier to protect, especially from evil magicians, the baker told the gardener. Soon it was time for everyone in the castle to go to sleep. It had been a long, eventful day, and everyone was tired. With Without any of the guards in the castle, there was no one to notice two shadowy figures crawling over the roof, and there were no guards to see those same two figures lower a rope into the dark throne room and slowly climb down. Sorry about the plane. The thieves were back to steal the royal jewels. The two people softly landed on the floor of the throne room. They quietly walked toward the center of the room, looking for the royal jewels. But the room was empty. "I don't understand," said a gruff voice. "Where are all the jewels?" Suddenly, the room was full of light. Rapunzel and her friends ran out of hiding. It had been a trap all along. In the harsh light of her lantern, Rapunzel saw that the figures were dressed in matching green vests, just like Flynn's. But she wasn't fooled for a moment. As Adela and Hook Hand restrained the criminals, Rapunzel removed their brown wigs to reveal the Stabbington brothers. "How did you know we'd be here?" the Stabbington brothers asked Rapunzel. "I knew that the idea of getting more jewels would be too tempting for you to pass up," Rapunzel said, "especially when you had seen all the guards leave the city. You didn't know that I had a scary group of thugs to help me out." Rapunzel explained to her friends how the Stabbington brothers had disguised themselves as Flynn to hide their true identities, and that was why the townspeople had seen Flynn in so many different places. There had been two of him. "We knew that you would get to the bottom of this, Rapunzel," the queen said, giving her daughter a hug. Rapunzel smiled. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some business in the dungeon." Sorry about the plane again. With Flynn's name cleared, Max and Rapunzel personally freed him from jail. "I left the room warm for you," Flynn told the Stabbington brothers, as Hook Hand and Vladimir locked them up. Now, there was only one mystery left to solve. "Where is my tiara?" Rapunzel asked the Stabbington brothers. "I can get my frying pan if I have to." "Boys, I'd be careful," Flynn said. "You do not want to be on the wrong end of Rapunzel's frying pan. Believe me, I know." "It's right here," said one of the brothers, pulling the tiara from under his vest. "After we stole all the jewels, we were planning to go to the docks and sail away to a faraway land." "Not anymore," Flynn said, as he took the tiara and placed it on Rapunzel's head. "That's much better." To celebrate solving the mystery, everyone went back to the Snuggly Duckling for a welcome back party. "Be honest. You were a little nervous," Rapunzel said to Flynn. "Me? Nervous? Never. I'm Flynn Rider. I've sailed to distant lands to see fair princesses and battled evil magicians, and adventure is my life," Flynn said with a wink. "Good thing, too," Gunther said, "because you're a terrible interior designer." Rapunzel laughed. It was good to be among friends. That was a cute one. You could see where it was going the whole time, but, it's cute. So, the next one, and maybe I'll read one more, depends how long it is, but it's Beauty and the Beast, the Perfect Pearl. It has a cute picture of Belle in a green dress, and Beast is sitting in his chair in beast form, which is kind of weird, and Chip is on Belle's shoulder. So I don't know when this happens, but I guess we'll find out. It was a lazy afternoon at the Beast Castle, and Belle and Chip were exploring the library. The Beast had just given Belle all of the books for her very own, and Belle hoped that someday she would read every single one. "What do you suppose is behind these doors, Chip?" Belle asked the enchanted teacup. "Books," Chip replied. "I'm sorry about the planes. I guess it's a hot time for them to land. It's 11 in the evening. Well, at night, It's kind of strange. Anyways." Belle laughed. "I mean, what kinds of books, silly?" Belle threw open the doors. "I knew it. More beautiful adventures tucked away and forgotten. Maybe even unread," she said. It wasn't that the Beast didn't use the library. When he did, he always read the same book. My library is your library, he said. He liked to remind Belle of that. Read and enjoy any book you find. It hadn't been long since Belle had agreed to stay at the castle in return for her father's freedom, but each day she was getting to know the Beast better. She was starting to think that he might care about her happiness. So, Belle took the Beast at his word and made herself at home in the library. Many days she spent hours there, reading book after book, losing track of time. Belle considered books priceless treasures, so when she took a break from reading, she gave the books special attention. Belle asked Babette to help her dust them. She shelved any stray books. She even pressed flat any folded pages. One morning, Belle noticed that the Beast had left his favorite book lying open in the arm of the chair. "That's not good for the binding," she said. She picked up the book and examined it. Although the cover was worn, it was a beautiful volume with a brass clasp decorated with pearls. But Belle noticed that one of the pearls was missing. Belle looked around the floor in case it had fallen out just then. Jip helped her search. "I found something," he called. There by the library door was a single perfect pearl. "Let's see if it fits," Belle suggested. She dropped the pearl into the hole in the clasp. "It's perfect," said Jip. But the pearl was loose, and it wouldn't stay put. "I have an idea," Belle said. "This book is obviously the Beast's favorite. I'll fix it up a bit at a time. As the finishing touch, I'll reattach the pearl. Then you can surprise him," Jip cried. Belle nodded. She was happy to do something nice for the Beast. Belle got right to work. She borrowed some rags and polish from Mrs. Potts and gently cleaned the leather cover. Then she put the book back on the Beast's chair so he wouldn't miss it. But when the Beast came into the library, he didn't pick up his book. He seemed to be looking for something. "Can I help?" Belle asked. "No," he bellowed. Then more quietly, he added, "No, excuse me." Without another word, he left the room. Belle was surprised, but she shrugged it off, assuming the Beast's bad mood would pass. At least this time, he'd apologized for his rude behavior. That afternoon, Belle did some more work on the book. Carefully, she smoothed out the rumpled pages and polished the brass clasp. "I can see myself," Chip exclaimed. Again, Belle put the book back in its place and on the Beast's chair. Later that evening, Belle passed the Beast in the hall. She smiled and stopped to greet him. "Good evening." "Good night," he snapped, hurrying by. Belle stood there, a bit stunned. He hadn't even glanced her way. Is something the matter? She wondered. The next morning it was time for Belle to add the pearl, but she wasn't sure she was ready to give the book back to the Beast. He had been so grouchy the day before. What will he be like today? She wondered. Just then, the Beast burst through the door. "You?" he cried. "You've had the pearl all along? I've been looking everywhere trying to find it." "Well, why didn't you say so?" Belle shouted. She tossed the pearl onto the table. "By the way, I've been fixing up your book as a surprise." The Beast was shocked. He looked at the book, picked up the pearl, and then he smiled and began to laugh. Belle stormed towards the door. "Belle, wait," the Beast said. His gentle voice made Belle stop and turn. "I've been working on something for you, too." In the Beast's hand was a lovely antique pin. "It's been in my family a long time," he explained, "and I wanted you to have it. But first, I had something to add." He placed the pearl on the pin at the base of the rose, and it fit perfectly. "I removed the pearl from my book yesterday," he said, "but I must have dropped it on my way out," and he looked down. "I'm sorry I blamed you." Now it was Belle's turn to laugh. "Well, I'm sorry that I stole your surprise." Belle pinned the gold rose with the perfect pearl to her dress. Then she watched as the Beast noticed the book's shining brass clasp, polished cover, and smooth pages. "Thank you, Belle," he said. "You've made it new." Belle and the Beast still had much to learn about each other, but their hearts were in the right place.